Hi, I'm Cheyenne Carroll, your host of TV2 Profiles. Today, we're in the Tuscarawas County Library speaking with Director Michelle McMorrow-Ramsell about the job that she has been a part of for the last 23 years. Not all as director, but she's been in just about every room in this library, so she'll tell us about that and how she got here. We'll also speak with Linda Wren, who is the director of the Jeanette and Hutton Public Library, and she has 3 visitors with her, the Bookhounds. So that is an exciting interview. Stay tuned for that. Again, I'm Cheyenne Carroll, and you're watching TV2 Profiles.
As a parent, we always want what's best for our child. In the case of one child, it may be going off to college. In another case, staying home and going to college. And yet, in other cases, it could be going right into the workforce. But how will they have the skills to do that? Buckeye Career Center has been the answer for one of our daughters. She's learning to do things with her hands that are going to be very valuable for her in the workplace. And we're excited we have Buckeye to thank for that.
Adults who return to Buckeye Career Center to continue their education usually have one goal in mind. They want the opportunity for a better job. The fact is, adult education programs at Buckeye Career Center are less expensive and provide greater opportunities for job placement following graduation. It's your future. Get the facts. Buckeye Career Center. We put people to work. Find out more about your future at buckeyecareercenter.org.
I'm John Maselli, and I would like to welcome you to the Sunnyside Store restaurant. Since 1999, we have served over 500,000 meals. We specialize in steak, pasta, and the patron special, ribs. The Sunnyside Store is located at 5495 North Worcester Avenue in Parral. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, we open at 9 a.m. for breakfast. For more information or to schedule an event in the banquet room for groups of 40 or smaller, call 330-364-5474. This is John Maselli inviting you to the Sunnyside Store restaurant.
I'm here every day to review patient care and progress notes and also discuss with the therapist, even after hours, what our goals are for the following day.
Our patients are able to stay within the community, be close to their family and friends, which is a big part of the rehab process.
What you get to see then is the actual progress taking place in a smaller time frame, so it's very visible and very real. It's not just something in the future, you're actually seeing it while it's happening.
Union Hospital, quality care close to home.
Hi, and welcome to TV2 Profiles. I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll. Well, this time around, we are in the Tuscarawas County Public Library at the New Philadelphia location, and I'm with the director, Michelle McMorrow-Ramsell. So welcome today to the program, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Cheyenne. It's nice to be here.
And you have been a part of the library, you said, for 25 years, right?
23.
23, I'm sorry. Tell me about that. I mean, 23, 25, I'm sure the years kind of run together, but that is a long time.
It is, and I feel very, very blessed to have the honor to be working for the library. But I will tell you that some days I come in from the parking lot and I'm looking at the building, I'm thinking, is it really possible that I've been walking in here for 23 years? But yes, that's exactly right. My husband and I moved back to this area around the time that we were going to start a family, and I had graduated with a teaching degree at that time. It was early 90s, and there weren't a lot of teaching jobs out there in English and journalism, which was my background. And eventually there was a library position open, and I applied for that and had the good fortune of getting that job and worked behind the reference desk for 5 years, and then decided to go back to school and pick up my master's in library science, and then became the children's services manager for 11 years and then the director for the last 8.
Wow. Now, I was reading something, you said you did journalism and English, things like that. So did you always enjoy reading when you were a child? I mean, could you ever see yourself having such a position?
As a child, I never could think about working in a library. That wasn't something I thought about, but my son's favorite movie, which I watched many times, was Benjamin Button, and of course I enjoyed the book as well. And there's a quote in that movie about life is only understood when looked at backwards. And I think that that's true, because when I look back, it makes perfect sense that I wound up here and that I feel so at home here. My mom was a working mom. She worked at Hart's Department's toy store, and she was like many working moms, feeling a little bit guilty that she was leaving her daughter. And so every time that she worked a shift, she would come home with a golden book for me, and she would bring that to me. And so when I was would be babysat by the lady who watched me while she worked part-time, I would have my stack of golden books, and the lady would just read one and put it on this side, and then pick up another one and read it and put it on that side. So books have been a part of my life for a very long time.
Yeah, there's a history, and when we mention history here at the library, it's beautiful. Tell me a little bit about this building.
It is a gorgeous building. The building itself was built in 1936. It was part of a WPA project. And a lot of people think that maybe it was a Carnegie library because it does have that feel of a Carnegie library, but it was not. There was an opportunity for the community to get funding to build a Carnegie library, but they voted that down. And then a little bit later, several years later, it became a WPA project. And then in the late 80s, the area where you and I are seated right now, this was an addition that was added at that time. And so yes, it's a gorgeous building. But the library itself has been around in one form or another since 1901, starting originally by a group of women as a subscription group where people could pay $1 and become a member of a library and then have the right to borrow books.
And it seems like women are still filling this library. You have a lot of female employees around here and a lot of visitors as I look around today.
Yes, we do. We are fortunate. You know what? Our customers are, we think of them all as family. We really get to know them, and we like to think that people, when they come here, they like it because everybody knows their names. So.
And tell me a little bit about being a director of a library. What exactly does that entail? I understand, the children's and the resource managers and things like that, what they do, but what do you do on a daily basis?
Every day is different, and that's the exciting part of the job. A large part of my job has to do with interfacing within the community and making sure that I'm making those connections that and am very much aware of what's going on in the community and the ways that the library can be a part of that and can contribute to that. And so that's a large part of my job. And in addition to that, just the overall oversight and direction of where we're going and working with our board and we have a wonderful administrative team too of managers, and pulling all of that talent to decide how we can strategically help the community in the best way.
And I'm sure when you talk about trying to keep up, you're also trying to keep up with technology and the different offerings that libraries across the nation now have. Talk to me a little bit about how things have advanced for the libraries since maybe your time when you started to now 23 years later.
That's funny that you should say that. When I think about, it really is an exciting time to be in library business because so much is changing, and we've all seen that even in our personal lives. When we think even about 5 years ago, how maybe we interfaced with technology or how technology has impacted our lives. And that's true in the library field as well. When I started here in 1992, when I started here in 1992, we didn't have internet. We didn't have, we had, I think, 2 computers maybe, and CD-ROMs were the big new technology of the day. And we've seen a lot of changes. I remember when email first became part of what we did and the internet became part of what we did. Within our community, there was not broadband everywhere originally. So the library was sort of that first broadband connection within Tuscarawas County. But I remember as a reference assistant, right around 1997 maybe is when we brought in, maybe 96 when we brought in the internet, sitting in a really small office and across from another reference assistant, and we had email, and sending her an email and saying, "Did you get it? Did you get it?" And she said, "Yeah, I got it." And we were in the same room, So it is really funny how technology has changed. And libraries definitely are always keeping up with those times, and that's because what libraries do is to make sure that they're providing customers what they need. So as our customers' needs and demands change, so does the focus of the library. So whether that's having videos, VHSs that we used to have, and then moving to CDs, or whether that's having print books and then also adding in your ebooks and your audiobooks. We just keep up with the times because we're keeping up with what our library customers want.
And it seems like you still have a lot of that stuff. You mentioned CDs, and I saw CDs when I walked in the door. Yes. People on the internet still using that. We think that's something that, most people have access to, but people do have to come to the library. Yes. Let's switch gears for just a minute here. Tell me about what you do outside of the library, still supporting the library, but you're on several boards and have different activities, right?
I do. I love working with the community. That's one of the favorite parts of my job. It's a wonderful opportunity. I'm a Rotarian with the New Philadelphia Rotary, and I also have just accepted a position for the Leadership Tuscarawas Board. And I also am an active member of the New Philadelphia Business and Community Association. And I'm also on the RTY board too. And then I also work with the Women's Success Series Committee with Wendy Zuckel and Pam Pataka and Connie Fenton and Kelly Baker.
Wow. That's a lot of activities, but like I said, they all kind of tie together, and I'm sure you get a lot of people that come into the library and see you, and they know you from somewhere else too, right?
Yes, I think that that's true. And then having spent 11 years in the children's department, I got to know a lot of moms and dads and a lot of kids that are now, much older, and some of them are bringing their kids here to the library. So it's just wonderful to see that.
All right, again, that's Michelle McMorrow-Ramsell. We are in the Tuscarawas County Public Library here in New Philadelphia. She's the director. So thanks again, Michelle, for being on TV2 Profiles. And I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll.
Omni Orthopedics comprehensive programs provide early diagnosis and successful treatment for every musculoskeletal problem. With more than 30 years of orthopedic experience, their physicians offer patient-centered treatment for all ages. From evaluation to rehabilitation, your treatment plan is designed around your needs. Omni Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, the spine, physical medicine and rehabilitation, foot and ankle, and hand surgery. If pain makes activities like climbing stairs, standing or walking a challenge, turn to the home team at Omni Orthopedics. Their mission is to provide you with the highest quality and most advanced orthopedic services so you can get back in the game. Located in the Oxford Medical Arts Building, Omni offers a full-service facility including digital x-ray and physical therapy. So there's no need to travel when quality care is so close to home. Omni Orthopedics, setting the standard in orthopedic care.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
Brilliantly practical scientist Harriet Tuttle's search for a more efficient life concluded with an unorthodox solution. Harriet created 4 more Harriets. Together they were a model of efficiency. However, while identical, they had their own interests and their own retirement plans, each customized with a Raymond James financial advisor, allowing them to enjoy life separately and together. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Hi, welcome to TV2 Profiles. I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll. Well, today we have quite the crew with us. First of all is Linda Wren, and she is the director of the Jeanette Hutton Public Library. So welcome today, Linda.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, well, and you said us. So if you can look into the bottom of our camera shot here, we have 3 dogs with us, and they are known as the Bookhounds. So we have Murphy, Marley, and also Bonita. So we'll get to them here in a minute. But Linda, first of all, tell me about your duties at the library. You're the director there. So what is it exactly that you do at the library?
Well, because Jeanette Hutton is a small library, I do everything, pretty much. Small library directors do reference. Of course, we check books in and out, which everybody realizes that. We also do fundraising. We manage the staff. We help with programs, anything that needs done. You know, if something happens in the restroom, it has to be cleaned up or unplugged, then We do that too. So it's kind of, it's a job you never know. You might have a plan when you start your day, but you never really know what you're going to get into that day. And I like that.
And you have 3 guests that are with you, I'm sure, constantly, most of the time. Tell me a little bit about the dogs here and what the book hounds do for you and for the community, really.
Well, this is Murphy, and this guy over here in the blue harness is Marley, and this little girl is Bonita. She's a book hound in training. She's not certified yet. Murphy and Marley both are certified therapy dogs, and they've been certified since they were about a year old, which is really unusual. Most dogs don't get certified until they're like 5 or 6. Bonita's probably not going to get certified until she's 5 or 6 because she's real calm and chilled out right now, but sometimes she gets a little excited. So she's still working on that part. But therapy dogs have to pass 2 tests, actually. They have to have their Canine Good Citizen from the AKC, and then most therapy dog organizations have another test. And the basic part of that test is always how they handle crowds, how they handle different types of equipment, wheelchairs, walkers, people acting a little bit wild and crazy, and kids. They have to be able to stay with a friendly stranger while I go out of sight for 5 minutes, which seems like that wouldn't be a big deal for most friendly dogs. And it isn't for Murphy and Marley. Right now, Bonita is a rescue. Murphy and Marley are too. We'll get that in a little bit. But Bonita gets kind of nervous if I get out of sight. She's fine if I leave her at home. But if I take her somewhere and I leave the room, she starts looking for me, and she gets really nervous. And so that's another thing she has to work on before she passes her therapy dog test.
Okay, so you talked about the training, but what is it exactly when we say book hounds? What does that mean? What do you and the dogs do?
Well, the book hounds do a number of things. The primary thing that we do is we work with kids that are struggling readers. We know that children that aren't reading on grade level by grade 3 are more likely to not finish high school. They're more likely to end up living in poverty. They just have a whole host of problems that if we can get them reading on grade level by the time they're in 3rd grade, that it helps them succeed. But we have worked with students at Eastport Elementary for about 5 years now. We go once a week, and the kids come in and read to the dogs for about 15 minutes. And that doesn't seem like much time. But for many of those children to have time where they read to somebody, the dogs, I always tell the kids that the dogs are there and I'm the invisible librarian. And they read to the dogs, and I'm laughing at Murphy. Murphy found somebody he doesn't know. We'll talk about Murphy a little bit more and his need to meet people he hasn't met before. But we spend 15 minutes with those kids, and they read to the dogs, and the dogs don't judge. They don't correct. And I try myself to not do a lot of corrections. If the kids don't know a word, I ask them to ask Murphy or Marley or Bonita if they know the word. And of course, very often, Murphy and Marley or Bonita don't know the word either. So then Murphy and Marley ask me what the word is. Okay. That way, the kids don't feel dumb, because heck, Murphy and Marley and Bonita didn't know the word either. And so it's much less stressful. And in some of the studies that Intermountain Therapy Animals has done, which is an organization that does a lot with reading education assistance dogs, they found that just reading to a dog 15 minutes a week for 9 weeks, a child can pick up a grade level. So if they're reading at a 1st grade level, in 9 weeks we can have them reading at 2nd grade level. And
is this something that maybe we could work on at home as well? I realize they're trained therapy dogs and everything, but do you think it helps kids, maybe just to read to their pet at home as well to get that experience?
I asked, because actually that's part of where I had read about programs where they use dogs with kids. And as a librarian, I researched this. But as a kid, I did that. I was always really a shy kid, and I stuttered a lot. And No, we have a major investigation going. That's another thing. Bonita barks at people that don't stop to pet her. Come on, Bonnie. Come back here. Come on. We'll pet you.
She seems very curious, whereas the other ones, they're okay with just kind of laying down.
They're a little better about just waiting for people to come to them, and patience is something Bonita still has to work on. But you can read to your pets at home, and I did that as a kid. So it made even more sense when I started reading about what they're doing. I'm thinking, well, heck, I did that when I was a kid. You know, I used to crawl in the doghouse and sit with a book and read to my dog. And at that time, I had a big old black and white collie, and he was also afraid of thunderstorms. So when he hid underneath the shed, I crawled underneath the shed with him and read to him too. Yeah. So my family always knew where to find me if it was storming, as I was under the shed. And but it's just a natural thing. I think dogs naturally make kids more comfortable, and it's usually the stress of reading aloud in a classroom, or the other kids might make fun of you, and the teacher's always telling you that you didn't say it right, and it's just time. It's just that unconditional love. The dogs just like to hear the kids' voices and to be petted, and for some kids that's a form of support they just don't get, unfortunately, very often.
And how long have you been doing this program with the Book Hounds? It's been around for a while, right?
Actually, they've been working in libraries. We started out, we did a program, we called it the Book Hound Club at the New Cumberstown Library, where I was director for 26 years. And we started out there, and that program was kind of aimed at keeping kids reading through the summer, because a lot of kids lose some of their reading ability over the summer. There's that summer, I don't know what, there's a term for it, and I don't remember offhand, but that they lose that. Well, if they keep reading over the summer, you can help them when they go back to school. They haven't regressed. If they're in third grade, they're not back to where they were in second grade. Right. So that helps keep that going. This year at Jeanette and Hutton, we also we are participating in the Fit Kids program. So we have, on Thursdays, there's Walk with a Book Hound. So we do a mile walk around Jeanette and Hutton with the dogs. And that encourages kids to get away from computer games and things and get out of the house and walk and do that. We also do several programs at libraries and organizations. One is about dog bite prevention. Children under the age of 7 are more likely to be bitten by a dog than anybody else, mainly because they're not familiar with dogs. If they're around dogs like Murphy and Marley and Bonita, you can do most anything to them and they're not going to get upset or scared or bite them. Where kids, if they think that all dogs like Murphy and Marley and Bonita, that can be a problem. So we kind of felt we had an obligation to teach kids about a little bit of dog. Most dogs are very intimidated and frightened when somebody hugs them, and that's a human thing, hugging. And for a lot of dogs, that can be quite intimidating, and it can lead to getting bitten. And of course, when a kid hugs a dog, their face is down by the dog's mouth, and then they end up getting bitten in the face. And we teach kids things to watch for in a dog's body language, stiffness, if the tail's tucked between their legs, if the dog is kind of looking away and you can see like a half moon in the eye, that's a sign of stress with a dog, and you want to leave those dogs alone. And so we do a lot of things, and we do a story time at the mall. We've been doing that. This will be our 4th year this summer in doing that, and that's kind of geared toward young kids. And at that, the Book Hounds host it, and they have guest readers come in, and they model good listening behavior for the little ones. And that's just about, the importance of reading.
Well, Linda, we've covered so much, not only, handling safety when you're around a dog, but just the benefits of reading with a dog. And you've got the Book Hounds here with us here at TV2 today. If we want some more information, maybe we want to get a hold of you, bring the Book Hounds into a classroom or something like that, how could we reach you?
They can call the Jeanette and Hutton Public Library And the phone number there is 740-254-9224. I'll also leave you some information about the Tuscarawas County Literacy Coalition. Murphy and Marley kind of function as mascots for the Literacy Coalition, and there's a section on the Tuscarawas County Literacy Coalition page that's the Bookhound section, and there's information there about that. And we'll also be at the Tuscarawas Valley Farmers Market in starting on the 17th of June, on the 1st and the 3rd Wednesdays, so they can look for us there between 3 and 6.
All right, there you have it. So there's your way to reach Linda Wren and also the Bookhounds joining us today. We had Murphy, Molly, and Bonita along with Linda. So thanks for bringing them by the studio. It was good to have some animal interaction during our day. It makes you feel a little happier. So thanks again, Linda. And for TV2 Profiles, I'm Cheyenne Carroll.